Hello everyone, this is SanadSK, and today we're gonna be talking about a very interesting topic, which are the code names of the bosses and enemies inside the game. Now, when developers are creating a game, they use code names to describe the entities. So, for example, the champion Grave-tender is called Fighter with Wolf, and Yuria of Londor is called Messenger of Koth. These are straightforward, but there are some other names that are super interesting and show us another side of what the developers had in mind before releasing the final game, and give us a lot of lore implications that we have never thought about and can change the way we think about some characters. This is gonna be the first part of this topic, so it would be very much appreciated if you press the like button, as a lot of research went into this video and it would show how much interesting people think this topic is. So, let us begin. First, we're gonna talk about two characters whose code names are related, which are Aldrich and Pontiff Sullivan. Now, Aldrich is weirdly called Sullivan in the code, and Pontiff Sullivan is called Black Old King. Now, let us first talk about the conflicting names of them. Now, some people think, including me, that it seems that they were supposed to be one and the same, but later on in development they split them apart and created them as two separate characters. Now, I find this kind of making sense because, in my opinion, both Aldrich and Sullivan's lores are very messy, and the deeds they both have done are kind of all over the place in the terms of the lore of the game. The relation of the Cathedral of the Deep with the Painted World, which were revealed to us later on, that Pontiff Sullivan was born inside of the Painted World, and why there are statues of Alfreda all over the cathedral, all these will be unknown to us. At least the DLC reveals the answers to us, which I highly doubt, but we can always hope. Now, as for the name of Pontiff Sullivan, which is Black Old King. Now, this perfectly fits with two unused pieces of content called the Old Monarch Crown and the Old Monarch Robe, which their description briefly read, Robe of the Old King who protected the Frigid Valley's capital. Now, if you don't know, the Frigid Valley is the beta name for the Boreal Valley of Earthil, as the name of the boss in the beta was the Dancer of the Frigid Valley, which was changed in the final build to the Boreal Valley. Oh, and by the way, her name in the code is PursuitHeroine, but we'll talk about her later on. Now, before knowing Pontiff Sullivan's name in the code, I thought that these items were either Sullivan's clothes because we can't wear them, or that these pieces had something to do with the Ivory King in Dark Souls 2, as he was a monarch and he was protecting an icy city too on top of a volcanic place, just like Pontiff Sullivan. But now we can basically confirm that they are indeed related to Pontiff Sullivan, as if we continue reading the description, it says, much like its owner, this once glorious garment has suffered greatly from the encroachment of dark. So it is possible that Pontiff Sullivan was supposed to be a Lord of Cinder before they chose to add Aldrich into the story of the game and creating another story to Pontiff Sullivan. So the next codename we're gonna talk about is Azeroth. Now, before we go to the codename itself, Azeroth actually went through a lot of changes during development. If you look at the leaked images that were released before Dark Souls 3 was released, you were supposed to fight Gundyr in the Consumed King's Garden instead of Azeroth. Now, these screenshots are gonna have a separate cut content video of their own because there are a lot of interesting stuff in them. Also, Ocelot, the king's son, was supposed to be held in the palm of Azeroth, as there is a baby skeleton that exists in the game in his palm, and I have talked about all of this in depth in the video you see in the corner, which if you didn't watch already, make sure you do after finishing this video. Now, the codename for Azeroth is DragonAngel. Now, we know from the lore that Azeroth tried to create the perfect child, and he saw what Seath the Pale Drake did and saw his research and all of that stuff, and we all basically agreed that Azeroth tried to create a child of dragons but became a dragon himself. But what if, in reality, he actually tried to create an angel? Now, I don't think anyone has thought of this possibility. And the links of Guinevere and the angels and all the things we see related to the angels in Lothric Castle, I think this is a very interesting topic to discuss and theorize on. Also, some little detail that most people don't know is that Azeroth doesn't have normal wings like dragons, but has feathered wings. And guess what also has feathered wings? I'll leave that question for you guys to answer. Now, I hope the DLC actually gives us some information about Gertrude and the angels in general, and just know what exactly happened to Guinevere after the events of Fire and Dark Souls 1. So, this wraps this video up. I hope you all enjoyed, and make sure you like this video and subscribe to immediately see when part 2 is uploaded, or when I upload any unused or cut content videos. So, I'll be seeing you on my next video. Bye bye.